At 2:13 a.m., the CCTV on Hawthorn Street freezes for 3 seconds. Not a glitch, not a power cut, just silence. Then the picture returns, and something is already there, hanging from the oldest ash tree on the corner. Not a rope, hair. A woman-shaped shadow swings gently like a pendulum. Her tail is a single thick braid of black hair wrapped around the branch like a noose. And as she sways, her head turns toward the camera. One question still stains that street like damp. If she was never buried there, why does she keep coming back to swing?
England is full of old roads that remember footsteps, cobblestones that hold cold stories, and streets where the air feels watched. Hawthorn Street is one of them, a narrow lane behind a closed chapel where the fog sits low and the lamplight looks sick. Locals call it the Street of the Hair-Swinging Witch. Some say it's just folklore, fear dressed up as a ghost story. But early modern England had real witch hysteria, real accusations, real hangings, and legends often grow where truth once bled into panic. This is the story of the night a skeptical cameraman tried to expose a hoax and learned that some streets don't want to be filmed.
Ethan Cole arrives in the town of Brackenford on a Sunday evening. He's a small YouTuber. Urban myths, night shoots, prove its fake energy. Rain taps his windshield like impatient fingers. The sat-nav voice feels too cheerful for the darkness. He parks near the old chapel. It's boarded up, stonework black with age. Behind it, Hawthorn Street. The ash tree stands at the corner like a judge. Its trunk is thick, scarred. The lowest branch hangs out over the road like an arm that never lowered. Ethan steps out with a camera and a handheld mic. He jokes quietly, because even he doesn't want to speak too loud here. A pub across the lane has one light on. An old woman behind a bar watches him through the window. Not curious, worried. When Ethan goes in to ask about the street, she doesn't smile. She just says, "Don't stand under that branch after midnight." Ethan laughs. "Why? Superstition?" The woman's voice is flat, because it isn't a branch to her. It's a swing.
At 11:47 p.m., Ethan sets up a tripod facing the ash tree. He places a second camera halfway down Hawthorn Street, pointed back toward the chapel. 2 angles, no excuses. The street is empty. Too empty. Even the usual night sounds feel muted. No cats, no distant traffic, no wind. Just the slow drip of water from gutters and the occasional creak of wood. Ethan narrates softly. Okay, Hawthorn Street, the witch swing legend. People say a woman hangs here by her hair like it's tied to the tree. If anything moves, it's probably wind. But there is no wind, not even a shiver in the leaves. At 12:06 a.m., the chapel bell, broken for decades, gives one dull knock, like a fist hitting wood from inside the tower. Ethan lowers his mic. He swallows. He tells himself it's settling timber. Then he notices something on the ground beneath the branch, a dark line stretched across the wet stone. He bends down. It's not a rope, not a cable. It's hair, thick, heavy, trailing from the tree's shadow into the darkness between the cobbles, as if the street itself is growing it. Ethan's breath turns shallow. He stands up too fast, and the camera on the tripod briefly tilts. When he steadies it, the ash tree looks different. Not physically, emotionally, like it's waiting. At 1:12 a.m., Ethan checks the second camera. Its screen shows Hawthorn Street in a long view, chapel at the far end, tree near the front. Everything is normal. Then the footage stutters. A shape appears near the chapel door, not walking in, just there. A woman, long black dress, bare feet. Her hair is too long, past her knees like an unspooling shadow. Ethan whispers, "No way." His voice shakes despite him. The woman doesn't move like a person. She glides in tiny shifts, as if the frames between her steps are missing. She reaches the ash tree. She tilts her head back, and her hair lifts, not from wind, from intent. It rises, snakes upward, wraps around the branch in a single coil, then tightens like a knot tied by invisible hands. Ethan steps backward without meaning to. His heel hits a loose stone. Click. The sound is small, but it lands like a gunshot. The woman's head turns sharply toward him. Her face is pale, featureless at first, like wet paper. Then eyes open, too dark, too deep. She swings once, just once, and the streetlights flicker in rhythm with her motion, as if the town's electricity is breathing with her. Ethan forces himself to speak to the camera, a reflex of survival. If you're watching this, subscribe right now because I don't think I'm getting a second chance to explain what I'm seeing. The moment he says it, the woman's lips form a soundless smile, as if she likes being watched.
Ethan runs. Not far, just to the middle of the street, because his brain is splitting between flight and proof. He points his handheld camera straight at her. His hands tremble so hard, the image looks like a heartbeat. The witch swing woman sways gently, hair tight on the branch, body loose beneath. Then her feet touch the ground. The hair does not loosen. Instead, it stretches, impossibly, like a living tether. She stands upright while still hanging, as if gravity is no longer a rule for her. She takes one step toward Ethan. The hair slides along the branch like a belt on a pulley. She advances without ever untying herself. Ethan backs away. He feels the cobbles catch his shoes. He nearly falls. The woman lifts her hand. Her fingers are long and wet-looking, like they've been dipped in river silt. The street suddenly fills with whispers. Not around him, inside him. Old voices, angry voices, praying voices. He hears a word repeated over and over. Witness. His camera lens fogs from cold. He wipes it with his sleeve. When the view clears, the woman is closer. So close that Ethan can see details in her hair. Thin strands braided with tiny things, withered leaves, knots of twine, something that looks like a rusted pin. A folk charm, a ritual, a memory tied into a braid. Ethan blurts, "Who are you?" The woman doesn't answer with words. She answers with the street. The chapel door behind her creaks open by itself. Inside, darkness that isn't empty, darkness that feels occupied. And from that doorway, a second braid of hair slides out, like a line being cast, like the street is offering him a swing of his own. Ethan's phone dies. His backup battery dies. His camera light dies. One by one, every modern thing he brought to protect him goes blind. Only the street lamp above the tree remains, and it shines straight down like a spotlight at an execution. The woman steps beneath the branch and raises her chin. Her hair tightens. Her body lifts slightly, toes hovering. The whispers return, stronger now, like a crowd gathering in invisible rows. Ethan suddenly understands the shape of the legend. This isn't a haunting for fun. It's a reenactment, a punishment that repeats until someone sees it properly. In Old England, fear could become law. Accusation could become a death sentence. Communities could convince themselves they were cleansing evil. Ethan stares up at her hair and feels something awful, the certainty that she didn't tie that knot alone. He remembers what the bartender said, "Don't stand under that branch after midnight." But he did, and now the street wants a witness or a replacement. The woman's face finally sharpens, as if the lamp's light is developing her like a photograph. She has eyes, she has a mouth, and she has a look that is not rage. It's pleading. Ethan whispers, "You want me to tell them?" Her swing slows. The whispers hush. Ethan does the only thing he can think of, something spiritual, simple, and human. He speaks with respect, not as an investigator, as a witness. "I don't know your name," he says, voice cracking, "but I believe you suffered. I believe people did this. I believe fear turned them cruel." The woman's hair loosens slightly, just a fraction, like a fist relaxing. The chapel bell knocks again, softly this time, not a threat, a release. The woman leans close enough that Ethan feels cold radiating off her, like winter air from a cellar. And for the first time, she speaks. 2 words, barely audible. "Tell. True." Then the street lamp explodes with a pop of white light. Total darkness. Ethan screams, not because he sees something, but because in that darkness he feels hair brush his cheek like a tail, and it's moving, searching, choosing. Ethan is found at 5:40 a.m. on the chapel steps, alive, soaked, shaking. His cameras are gone, but his memory isn't. He leaves Brackenford that day and uploads only an audio confession. No footage, no proof, just a warning. He tells viewers, Hawthorn Street is real, the swing is real, and the witch is not performing for tourists. She is repeating a death that was never properly mourned. The moral is simple, and it's heavy. When fear becomes certainty, people do terrible things and call it justice. And sometimes a place remembers so deeply that it refuses to let the story die. If you ever walk a quiet English street and feel watched, don't laugh it off too fast. Respect the past, respect the dead, and never treat suffering like entertainment, because the line between watching and being chosen can be terrifyingly thin. And if you want more true-style horror tales like this, subscribe and watch to the end next time, because some stories follow you back.